They thought excluding me from the family was easy. They forgot one thing. I was the only one holding everything together. When I let go, their perfect world collapsed in 24 hours. Hey, I'm Emily. If you've ever been treated like you're not good enough by your own family, this story might hit close to home. Stick around. By the end, you'll see why sometimes walking away is the strongest thing you can do. And if this resonates with you, consider subscribing. You're not alone in this. I wore my apron like armor. Every tip I earned, every late-night shift, it all went home. I told myself it was temporary, that one day they'd see what I gave up. I was wrong. My name is Emily Thompson. I'm 28 years old, and for the last decade I've been a waitress at Mel's Diner on Route 9. It's not glamorous. The floors are sticky, the coffee's always burning, and by the end of a double shift, my feet scream louder than the grease fryers. But it's honest work. And for 10 years, that honest work kept my family afloat. My dad died when I was 18. Heart attack, no warning. One day he was coaching Dylan's little league team. The next day he was gone. Mom fell apart. She couldn't work for months. Someone had to step up. So I did. I was supposed to start at Michigan State that fall. I had a partial scholarship, $15,000 a year. I'd worked so hard for it. Honor roll all through high school, volunteering at the food bank, captain of the debate team. I had plans, big plans, business degree, maybe law school after. I wanted to change the world, you know, or at least change my zip code. But then Dad died, and the world changed me instead. Dylan was only 15. He needed stability. He needed someone to pack his lunches, sign his permission slips, make sure he did his homework. Mom was drowning in grief and medical bills Dad left behind. Someone had to pay the mortgage. Someone had to keep the lights on. So I deferred my acceptance. Just for a year, I told myself. Just until Mom gets back on her feet. That year turned into 10. I picked up a job at Mel's Diner. Started as a hostess, worked my way up to server. The tips were decent if you smiled enough, laughed at the regulars' bad jokes, remembered how they liked their eggs. I learned fast. 55, 60 hours a week, sometimes more during holidays. Every paycheck I'd cash it and divide it up. Rent for Mom, groceries, utilities, Dylan's school supplies, his basketball shoes, his class trip to Washington, D.C., his prom tuxedo rental. When Dylan graduated high school, I was so proud. He had options I never did. He got into 3 good state schools. He chose the one with the best business program, same school I'd turned down. Tuition was $20,000 a year. Mom couldn't help. Her part-time receptionist job barely covered her own expenses after Dad's debts were finally paid off. Dylan looked at me with those hopeful eyes. I know it's a lot to ask, but... I didn't let him finish. I'll figure it out. And I did. I picked up a second job on weekends, catering events, weddings, corporate lunches. I worked 75-hour weeks. I stopped buying new clothes. I stopped going out with friends. I stopped having friends, actually. Who has time for friends when you're working yourself to the bone? For 4 years, I paid Dylan's tuition. $80,000. I paid it in tips and overtime and missed meals. I paid it in nights I cried myself to sleep because my body hurt so badly I couldn't move. I paid it in the college degree I never got. But Dylan got his. He graduated with honors, got a job right away. Marketing manager at some Fortune 500 company downtown. Started making $85,000 a year right out of the gate. I was so happy for him. Finally, I thought. Finally, I can breathe. Finally, maybe I can take some classes. Maybe go back to school part-time. But then Dylan met Vanessa Hartley. Blonde, beautiful, came from money. The kind of money that doesn't just open doors, it builds the whole damn house. Her dad owned half the commercial real estate downtown. Her mom sat on charity boards and wore pearls to brunch. Dylan was smitten. And honestly, I was happy for him. He deserved love. He deserved someone who made him smile like that. But things started changing. First, it was little things. Dylan stopped coming by for Sunday dinners at Mom's. Too busy with Vanessa's family events. Then he started avoiding my calls. When I'd finally catch him, he'd be distracted, short. Dylan, I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. I know, Em. Work's crazy, and Vanessa's family has all these things. Things. Galas, fundraisers, country club brunches. A whole world I wasn't part of. One night, I suggested we all get dinner. Me, Mom, Dylan, and Vanessa. Just casual, nothing fancy. Maybe that pizza place Dylan used to love. Dylan hesitated. Yeah, maybe. Let me check with Vanessa. He never got back to me. A month later, I saw on Vanessa's Instagram, because of course I followed her, I wanted to know who my brother was spending his life with, photos of a family dinner. Dylan, Vanessa, her parents, her siblings, all dressed up at some steakhouse downtown, the kind of place where the menu doesn't have prices. I wasn't invited. Mom wasn't invited. I called him. Dylan, I saw you had dinner with Vanessa's family. Silence. Was there a reason you didn't mention it? Or invite us? It was a Hartley family thing. But you were there. Yeah, because I'm going to be family. My stomach dropped. Are you engaged? Not yet, but soon. Look, the Hartleys are different. They have expectations. Standards. Standards. The word hung in the air like a guillotine. What does that mean? It means, look, they're old money. They care about appearances, about presentation. Dylan, what are you saying? He sighed. You're a waitress. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but Vanessa's family, they wouldn't understand. I felt like I'd been slapped. Wouldn't understand what? That I work for a living? That I sacrificed everything so you could have a degree and a career they'd approve of? That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I didn't ask you to pay for my college. The words hit harder than any insult, because he was right. He didn't ask. I offered, and now, somehow, my generosity had become my shame. You're right, I said quietly. You didn't ask. I just did it. Because I'm your sister. Because I thought family meant something. Family does mean something, but I'm building a new life, Em, with Vanessa, and I need you to understand that her family's approval matters. For my career, for our future. So I'm an embarrassment. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I hung up, and I cried. I cried for the 18-year-old girl who gave up college. I cried for the 10 years of double shifts and aching feet. I cried because the boy I raised, and I did raise him more than Mom did in those grief-stricken years, was ashamed of me. But I told myself it would pass. It was just pre-wedding jitters. Once he married Vanessa, once he was secure in that world, he'd come back around. He'd remember. I was wrong. 2 months later, a cream-colored envelope arrived in my mailbox. Expensive cardstock, embossed gold lettering, a save-the-date card. Dylan Thompson and Vanessa Hartley request your presence. Just a save-the-date. No formal invitation. Not yet. I texted Dylan. Got the save-the-date. It's beautiful. When will the real invitations come? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. About that, I need to talk to you. My heart sank. He called an hour later. I was on my break at the diner, sitting in my car in the parking lot, eating a sandwich I'd made at home because I couldn't afford to buy lunch. The wedding. It's complicated. What's complicated? The Hartleys want to keep it intimate, close family only, really small. Dylan, I'm your sister. I'm close family. Silence. The guest list is really tight. Vanessa's parents are being strict about numbers. It's a whole thing. How many people? What? How many people are invited? More silence. Dylan, how many? 200. I laughed. I actually laughed. 200 people is intimate? It's complicated. Stop saying that. Just tell me the truth. He sighed, heavy, defeated. The Hartleys have standards about who's there, about presentation. I'm not presentable. You're a waitress, Em. Vanessa's family, they're doctors, lawyers, business owners. You wouldn't fit in. The sandwich in my hand suddenly felt like concrete. I wouldn't fit in. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? Look, it's my wedding day. I need everything to be perfect. For Vanessa. For her family. For my career. Mr. Hartley is considering me for a partnership track. This wedding is important. And I'd ruin it. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Again, I was yelling now. The couple in the car next to mine looked over. I didn't care. Dylan, I raised you. I fed you, clothed you, paid for your education. $80,000. Do you understand that? $80,000 I gave you because I loved you, and now you're telling me I'm not good enough to watch you get married? Does Mom know? Silence. Dylan, does Mom know you're not inviting me? She understands. Something inside me cracked. Put her on the phone. What? You're at her house, aren't you? Sunday dinner, the one I'm never invited to anymore. Put Mom on the phone. Rustling, muffled voices. Then Mom's voice, careful, distant. Emily, honey, did you know Dylan's not inviting me to his wedding? A pause. Then a sound I'll never forget. A laugh, cold, dismissive. Emily, honey, that's just how it is. The Hartleys are high society. You wouldn't be comfortable there anyway. Comfortable? Mom, he's my brother. I paid. And we're grateful. But Dylan's moving up in the world. You need to accept your place. My place. I sat in that car, phone pressed to my ear, and felt something die. That little girl who believed family was everything, who thought love meant sacrifice. She died right there in the Mel's Diner parking lot. My place, I repeated. Don't make this dramatic, Emily. You're taking this too personally. I hung up. My hands were shaking. For 2 weeks, I didn't call, didn't text. I went to work. I came home. I stared at the ceiling of my tiny studio apartment and wondered how I'd gotten here. Then my phone buzzed. Dylan. Quick question. Can you still send that $2,000 for the honeymoon fund? Vanessa really wants Maldives. I stared at the message, read it 3 times, 4 times. Can you still send that $2,000? Still. Like it was assumed. Like it was owed. For a honeymoon. For a wedding I wasn't invited to. I called him. You want me to fund your honeymoon to Maldives? It would really help us out. But I'm not invited to your wedding. We talked about this. No, I want to make sure I understand. You want me to pay for your romantic vacation, but I'm not good enough to watch you say your vows. Why are you making this so difficult? Me? I'm making this difficult. It's just money, Em. You've always helped before. You're right, I have. I've helped with everything. Your school supplies, your college, your car insurance when you wrecked Mom's Honda, the deposit on your condo, the laptop when yours broke. I've helped with everything, Dylan. Everything except my own life. Do you know when the last time I bought myself new shoes was? 3 years. Do you know how many college classes I've taken? 0. Because every single dollar I've earned has gone to this family. No one asked you to do that. You're right. No one asked. I just did it. Because I loved you. Because I thought that's what family did. But I'm learning something now, Dylan. Family doesn't exclude you and then ask for money. That's not family. I don't even know what that is. So you're not sending the money. The audacity. The sheer audacity. No, Dylan, I'm not sending the money. And you know what else? I'm done. Done with what? Done with all of it. The mortgage payments to Mom, she's gotten $1,500 a month from me for 5 years. That stops today. The emergency fund I keep for family stuff. The insurance I've been covering. All of it. You said I don't fit your new life? Fine, I'll never have anything to do with you again. Silence. Then, anger. Are you serious right now? You're going to abandon the family because you didn't get a wedding invitation? No, Dylan. I'm leaving the family because the family left me first. You just didn't notice because I was still paying the bills. I hung up, blocked his number. Then I called Mom. Emily, Dylan told me you're being unreasonable. I'm stopping all financial support, Mom, effective immediately. The mortgage help, the grocery money, all of it. You can't do that. Watch me. Emily, we're your family. No, you were my family. Then you laughed at me. You told me to know my place, so I'm knowing it. And my place isn't funding people who think I'm an embarrassment. Don't you dare! Don't you dare do this to us! That's funny. That's exactly what I said when you chose a country club over your daughter. But nobody listened. Fine. Her voice was ice now. Fury. Fine. We don't need you. That's our line. You think we need you? We don't. Don't come crawling back when you realize what you've done. I won't, I said. And I hung up. I sat in my apartment that night, phone in my hand, waiting to feel guilty, waiting to feel like I'd made a mistake. But all I felt was light, like I'd been carrying a boulder uphill for 10 years and I'd finally set it down. That night, I slept through for the first time in a decade. 2 weeks passed. The silence was deafening. No calls, no texts, nothing. Good, I thought. They're finally accepting it. I was at work on a Saturday morning, breakfast rush. The diner was packed. Regulars, truckers, families with screaming toddlers. I was in my rhythm. Coffee refills, pancake orders, hash browns extra crispy. My phone was in my apron pocket. I felt it buzz, then buzz again, and again. I ignored it. I was in the weeds, 5 tables deep. Nina, my coworker and closest friend at the diner, grabbed my arm. Your phone's going crazy. I'll check it on my break. It's been buzzing nonstop for 10 minutes. Something cold settled in my stomach. I pulled out my phone. 47 missed calls. I blinked. Refreshed. 59 missed calls. What the hell? I stepped into the back, by the dish station. Opened my call log. Mom. Dylan. Dylan. Mom. Unknown number. Unknown number. Dylan. Mom. Aunt Janet. Cousin Michael. Numbers I didn't recognize. Over and over and over. Then the texts started flooding in. Mom. Emily, pick up. Dylan. Please, I'm begging you, emergency. Dylan. Emily, answer your phone. Unknown. Hi, this is Dylan's friend Brad. He really needs to talk to you. Vanessa. Emily, I don't know you, but please call Dylan. My heart was racing. Was someone hurt? Dead? I called Dylan. He answered on the first ring. Oh, thank God. I need... What's wrong? Is someone hurt? No, no one's hurt. But I need you to... Then why are you blowing up my phone? We have a problem. A big problem. With the wedding. I felt ice flood my veins. The wedding. The caterer. The final payment is due today. Right now. And we're short. I laughed. Actually laughed. You're calling me about wedding payments? Please, I'm desperate. The caterer is threatening to walk. The wedding is in 4 hours. 4 hours? Yes! The ceremony's at 1 p.m. Please, I need $2,600 or they're pulling the food. Dylan, you excluded me from this wedding because I'm just a waitress. And now you want me to pay for it? I'll pay you back. I swear. No. No. This is your wedding. Your perfect high society wedding. Figure it out. Emily, please. You don't understand. Vanessa's family will never forgive me if this falls apart. My career... I don't care about your career, Dylan. I don't care about Vanessa's family. I don't care about any of it. How can you be so cruel? Cruel? You want to talk about cruel? You made me feel worthless because I serve people for a living. You asked me to fund your life while excluding me from it. That's cruel, Dylan. My phone started buzzing with another call. Mom, then another. Unknown number. Another. I looked at the screen. 87 missed calls now. Nina poked her head around to the corner. You okay? I held up my phone. My brother's wedding is in 4 hours. They're short on money. The whole family is calling. What are you going to do? I looked at my phone, at the messages flooding in. Desperate, angry, pleading. I turned it off. I'm going to finish my shift. These folks need their lunch. Nina stared at me. Then she grinned. That's cold. No, I said, it's boundaries. I walked back onto the floor, picked up my order pad, smiled at table 7. More coffee? My phone stayed off in my locker for the rest of my shift. 6 hours. When I finally turned it on at 5 p.m., there were 302 missed calls. 302. The voicemails were a symphony of panic, rage, and desperation. Mom. Emily, you've made your point. Just answer the phone. Dylan, I can't believe you're doing this to me on my wedding day. Unknown numbers. Is this Emily? Your family really needs you to call back. Vanessa crying. Please, I've dreamed of this day my whole life. I listened to every single one, and I felt nothing. Or maybe I felt everything. Free, powerful, done. I didn't call back. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I felt guilty, I didn't, but because I kept wondering what happened. Did they pull off the wedding? Did the caterer walk? Part of me wanted to know. The other part knew that wanting to know meant I still cared, and I was trying very hard not to. Monday morning, I was back at Mel's for the early shift. Nina cornered me by the coffee station before the breakfast rush. Girl, you have to tell me what happened. Did they call you again? 302 times on Saturday. Nothing since. Her eyes went wide. 300? Are you serious? Dead serious, I counted. So what happened at the wedding? No idea. I didn't answer. I didn't call back. For all I know, it went off without a hitch. But Nina had connections. Her cousin's girlfriend worked at the country club where the reception was held. By Tuesday, Nina had the full story. We were on break, sitting in her car because it was too cold to stand outside. She pulled up Instagram on her phone. Okay, so Katie, that's my cousin's girlfriend. She was working the event staff that day. She sent me this. It was a photo from inside the country club ballroom. Empty tables, a few scattered guests. No food visible except some picked-over appetizer trays on a side table. That's it? I stared at the image. That's the reception? Apparently the ceremony was delayed 2 hours. Guests were standing around, confused. No one knew what was happening. The caterer did pull their full service. They only left appetizers they'd already prepped. Dylan ended up ordering pizza, like Domino's pizza, at a country club wedding. I should have felt satisfaction, vindication, but mostly I just felt sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that my brother's big day had imploded. Sad that he'd brought it on himself. Katie said Vanessa cried through the whole ceremony, and her parents looked furious, like stone-faced furious. I bet. There's more. Nina scrolled to another screenshot. Katie heard Vanessa's dad corner Dylan after the ceremony, something about financial irresponsibility and serious concerns about your judgment. The Hartleys were questioning Dylan, the very people he'd sacrificed me for. Their honeymoon got postponed too. No money left. I stared out the windshield at Route 9. Cars rushing past, people going places, living their lives. I didn't do this to hurt him, I said quietly. I couldn't keep being the one who fixed everything while being treated like nothing. Nina squeezed my hand. I know, babe. And honestly, they deserved it. The next 2 weeks were quiet. No calls, no texts, nothing from Dylan or Mom. The silence felt like its own kind of validation. Then, on a Wednesday evening, my phone buzzed. Dylan. We need to talk, face to face, please. I know I messed up, I'll make it right. I stared at the message for a long time, read it over and over, looking for the apology that wasn't there. I messed up wasn't, I'm sorry. I'll make it right wasn't, I was wrong. I typed back, you had a wedding. I wasn't good enough to attend, but I was good enough to pay for it. I'm done being your backup plan. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then stopped. No response came. But the next day, Aunt Rebecca called. Mom's sister. We'd always been close, or as close as you could be when you worked 70-hour weeks. Emily, honey, I need to talk to you about what's happening with Linda and Dylan. I almost hung up. But Aunt Rebecca had always been kind to me. She'd sent me a card with $50 in it every birthday, even when I was an adult. Little things that said, I see you. I'm listening. First, I want you to know, I'm on your side. What they did was wrong. Excluding you from that wedding after everything you've done, I'm ashamed of them. Something in my chest loosened. Thank you. But I need you to know what's happening, because they won't tell you themselves, and you deserve to know. She took a breath. Your mother's house is in foreclosure proceedings. She has 5 days to come up with $4,500 or the bank takes it. I felt nothing, just numbness. She hasn't been able to make the mortgage since you stopped helping. Her pension only covers about half. She's been trying to get relatives to loan her money. Everyone's saying no. Because they know what she did to me. Exactly. Michael posted in the family group chat about how Linda excluded you from the wedding, called you an embarrassment. Half the family left the chat. No one wants to help her now. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. And Dylan? Rebecca sighed. His marriage is struggling. Vanessa found out about his debt, $33,000 in credit cards and personal loans, most of it from the wedding. She's furious. Her parents are talking about pulling some business connection that was supposed to help Dylan's career. He's on a performance improvement plan at work. Stress, apparently. $33,000 in debt. For one day. For appearances. Rebecca, why are you telling me this? Because I want you to hear it from someone who loves you. They made their choices, Emily. You don't owe them rescue, but I know you. I know you're probably sitting there wondering if you should help anyway. She knew me too well. Don't, she said firmly. Don't you dare. You gave them 10 years. They threw you away the second you became inconvenient. Let them figure it out. What if Mom loses the house? Then she loses the house. She can rent, like most people. She'll survive. She's tougher than she acts. We talked for a few more minutes, then said our goodbyes. But Rebecca's words stayed with me. Let them figure it out. I tried. I really tried to let it go. But by Thursday, guilt was creeping in. That old, familiar guilt. The kind that said, but they're family. They need you. You're being selfish. Nina caught me staring into space during my shift. You're thinking about helping them, aren't you? No? Liar. I can see it on your face. I wiped down table 6, even though it was already clean. Rebecca called. Mom's about to lose the house. Good. I looked at her, shocked. Good, she repeated. Let her lose it. Maybe then she'll realize what you were doing for her all those years. Nina, she's my mom. And you're her daughter. Did she protect you? Did she stand up for you when Dylan said you weren't good enough for his wedding? Nina put down her order pad. Em, I love you. You're like a sister to me. But you have this thing where you think you have to save everyone. You don't. Some people need to fall so they learn how to stand. I knew she was right, but knowing and feeling are different things. Friday night, 11 p.m. I'd just gotten home from a double shift. My feet were killing me, my back ached, and I smelled like fryer grease. I was peeling off my uniform when someone knocked on my door. I froze. I lived in a quiet building. No one just showed up. I looked through the peephole. Dylan. He looked awful. Circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, defeated posture. Part of me wanted to pretend I wasn't home, but I opened the door, left the chain on. What do you want? Em, please, can we talk? I'm working. I'm tired. I'll wait. No, you won't. Say what you need to say. He looked at me through that 3-inch gap. Really looked at me. Maybe for the first time in years. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry. I was an idiot. I let Vanessa and her family get in my head. I forgot. You forgot I raised you. Yes, I forgot everything you sacrificed. Mom's losing the house. My marriage is falling apart. My job is on the line. I've lost everything. And you think I can fix it. I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm begging for forgiveness, for a chance to make this right. I stared at him. This man who used to be my baby brother, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who I'd helped with algebra homework, who I'd given everything for. Dylan, do you know what the worst part was? He shook his head. It wasn't that you excluded me from your wedding. It was that you made me feel ashamed of who I am. I'm a waitress. I serve people. I work hard. I'm good at what I do. And you made me feel like that was something to hide. Like I was something to hide. I know, and No, you don't know. Because if you did, you wouldn't have let Mom laugh at me when I called her, hurt and confused. You wouldn't have asked me for $2,000 for your honeymoon while telling me I wasn't good enough to watch you get married. You wouldn't have called me cruel for setting a boundary." His eyes filled with tears. "Please, Em. I'll do anything." "There's nothing to do. You didn't just burn a bridge, Dylan. You burned the person who built it." I started to close the door. "Wait, what about Mom? She's going to lose the house." I stopped, turned back. "That's not my house anymore. It stopped being my home the moment she laughed at my pain." "So that's it? You're just done? With all of us?" "Dylan." My voice was calm now, certain. "I'm not abandoning you. You abandoned me first. I'm just finally accepting it." I closed the door, heard him sob on the other side, heard him slide down and sit against it. I stood there, my back against my side of the door, and waited for the guilt to come. It didn't. I heard him stand up 20 minutes later, heard his footsteps fade down the hallway. I took a shower, made chamomile tea, and went to bed. That weekend, something unexpected happened. Tom, the diner manager, called me into his office before my shift. Tom was a good guy. Late 50s, ran the place like it was his own family. He'd given me every extra shift I'd ever asked for, never questioned why I needed the money. "Emily, sit down." Oh, God. Was I in trouble? Was I getting fired? "You're not in trouble," he said, reading my face. "Actually, the opposite. Nina told me what's been going on with your family." "I was going to kill Nina." "Don't be mad at her. She's worried about you. We all are." He leaned back in his chair. "How long have you worked here, kid?" 10 years. Since I was 18. "And in those 10 years, how many shifts have you missed?" I don't know. 5? Maybe. 3. 3 shifts in 10 years. Once for the flu that hospitalized you. Once when your car broke down on the highway. Once for your dad's funeral. He pulled out an envelope. "You know what I've noticed about you, Emily. You show up. You work hard. You're kind to the customers, even the difficult ones. You helped train every new server we've hired. You cover shifts when people call in sick. You're the backbone of this place." I didn't know what to say. "Your family's been using you as an ATM, but you're not an ATM, kid. You're a person. A damn good person." He slid the envelope across the desk. "Open it." Inside was a check, $3,200. "What? What is this?" "It's from the staff and the regulars. Nina started a jar on the counter Tuesday. Put a little sign that said Emily's Fund. Didn't say what it was for, but people know you. Mrs. Chen, the lady who orders decaf and rye toast every morning, she put in $200, said you've been giving her free coffee refills for 5 years. The truckers pooled together $400. Jake from the kitchen, you know he's broke as hell, he put in $50. Said you covered his shift last month when his daughter was sick, and you wouldn't let him pay you back." I stared at the check, my vision blurred with tears. "Tom, I can't accept this." "You can and you will. You've been serving people for 10 years, Emily. Let someone serve you for once." The tears came then. Big, ugly, grateful tears. Tom came around to the desk and hugged me. "You're family, kid. Real family. The kind that shows up, not the kind you happened to be born into." That night, Nina and I went to the 24-hour diner across town. Not our diner. We needed a break from work. "I can't believe you told Tom," I said, but I wasn't really mad. "You needed help. You're always helping everyone else. About time someone helped you." $3,000, Nina. How did you even— People love you, Em. Like really love you. You remember things about them, their kids' names, their favorite orders. You ask about their lives. You care. And they wanted to show they care about you, too. I looked at my best friend. This woman who'd become more of a sister than family ever was. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. Just promise me something." "What?" "Use some of that money for yourself. Not for bills, not for emergencies, for yourself. Take a class. Buy something nice. Hell, go get a massage. You deserve it." The next week, I did something I hadn't done in 10 years. I enrolled in a community college course, Introduction to Business Management, online so I could work around my shifts. The enrollment fee was $200. I paid it without checking my bank account first, without calculating if I could afford it, without anxiety. I also did something else. I went to the local community center and signed up for their free counseling services. 1 hour a week with a therapist named Dr. Sarah Martinez. First session, she asked me to tell her my story. I did. All of it. Dad's death, giving up college, 10 years of sacrifice, the wedding exclusion, the 302 calls, turning off my phone and walking away. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Emily, do you know what codependency is? Like when you're too dependent on someone? Not exactly. It's when you derive your sense of worth from being needed by others, when you enable destructive behavior because saying no feels like abandonment, when you sacrifice yourself so completely that you lose who you are. I felt exposed, seen in a way that was uncomfortable. You spent 10 years being your family's savior, and the moment you couldn't save them or wouldn't, they discarded you. Do you see the pattern? They only valued me when I was useful. Exactly, and you internalized that. You believed your worth was in what you could give, not in who you are. So what do I do? She smiled. You're already doing it. You set boundaries. You walked away. Now you have to learn to stay away, and you have to learn that you have value beyond what you provide. It sounded simple. It wasn't. Over the next few months, I got random messages. Aunt Janet asking if I'd reconsider helping Mom. Cousin Michael saying I was being talked about at family events. A few relatives reaching out with half-hearted, "I'm sure you had your reasons" messages that felt more like fishing expeditions than real support. I didn't respond to most of them. The ones I did respond to, I kept it simple. I appreciate your concern, but this is between me and them. 3 months after the wedding, Aunt Rebecca called again. I wanted to update you, not because I think you should do anything, but because you deserve to know. Okay. Linda lost the house. She's renting a room now in the place an investor bought, smaller, but she's managing. She got a part-time job at the grocery store to supplement her pension. And Dylan? Rebecca paused. He and Vanessa are divorced. She filed 2 months ago, cited financial incompatibility and broken trust. He moved back in with Linda. He's working 2 jobs now, still has the marketing gig, but he picked up retail shifts on weekends to pay down the debt. I felt nothing, not satisfaction, not sadness, just acceptance. How's he doing? Honestly, he's humbled, real humbled. He asked about you last week, asked if I'd talked to you. What did you say? I said you were thriving. Because you are, aren't you? I thought about it. My community college class, I had an A average. My job, Tom had promoted me to shift supervisor with a $3 an hour raise. My side business that Nina had suggested, meal prep deliveries for the hospital staff, was bringing in an extra $800 a month. My tiny apartment with my rescue cat free. My weekly therapy sessions. My first full night's sleep in a decade. Yeah, I said. I am. 6 months after the wedding, I was featured in the local paper. From waitress to entrepreneur, one woman's story. They interviewed me about the meal prep business, which had grown to 45 regular clients. The article mentioned that I was putting myself through college. It mentioned nothing about my family. I'd asked them not to. The article ran on a Thursday. By Friday, my phone had 5 new voicemails. 2 from relatives I hadn't heard from in years, suddenly proud of me. 1 from a business development center offering free consulting. 1 from the community college, asking if I'd speak at freshman orientation about non-traditional students. And 1 from Mom. I listened to hers last. Emily, I saw the article. You look happy, successful. I'm glad you're doing well. I wanted to... A long pause. Breathing. I'm sorry. I know it's too late. I know you won't forgive me, but I'm sorry. For laughing, for not standing up for you, for choosing their approval over you. You deserved better. You deserved a mother who saw your worth. I'm sorry I wasn't her. Her voice cracked at the end. I saved the voicemail. I didn't delete it, but I didn't call back either. Some apologies come too late. Not because you're vindictive, but because the person you needed to hear them doesn't exist anymore. That girl who needed her mother's approval? She was gone. A year after the wedding, I was walking through the grocery store after my shift, exhausted, just wanting to grab milk and eggs and go home. I turned down the cereal aisle and froze. Mom. She was wearing a store uniform, name tag pinned to her chest. She was stocking shelves, moving slowly, carefully. She looked older, tired, smaller somehow. We made eye contact. Time stopped. I saw shame in her eyes, regret, sadness. She mouthed 2 words. I'm sorry. I stood there, card in hand, cat food and yogurt and reality between us. I could have walked away, could have pretended I didn't see her, could have made her feel as invisible as she'd made me feel. But I'm not her. I nodded. Once. Small. An acknowledgement. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation. Just, I see you. I hear you. And I'm okay. Then I turned my cart and walked to the register. I paid for my groceries. I drove home. I fed free. I opened my laptop and worked on an essay for my business ethics class. The topic, the cost of loyalty. I wrote about family, about sacrifice, about the difference between helping and enabling, about knowing when to hold on and when to let go. I got an A. My professor asked if she could submit it to the college journal. It got published, then picked up by a few academic blogs. Then it went viral on Twitter. 5,000 shares. People talking about their own experiences with toxic family dynamics, with setting boundaries, with choosing themselves. Someone commented, "This is the kind of story people need to hear. Walking away isn't giving up. Sometimes it's the only way to save yourself." Another, "I've been funding my family for 8 years. This gave me the courage to stop." Another, "You're not selfish, you're surviving." I read every comment, every story. Hundreds of people saying, "Me too," saying, "Thank you," saying, "I thought I was alone." And I realized I wasn't just healing myself. By telling my story, by setting my boundary and standing by it, I was giving other people permission to do the same. That night, Nina came over with wine and Chinese food. "You're famous," she teased, showing me her phone. "My cousin sent me your essay. She had no idea it was you." "I'm not famous. I'm just honest. Honestly famous." She poured wine into mismatched mugs. "So how do you feel? About all of it? The article, your mom at the store, everything?" I thought about it. "I feel free," I said finally. "For 10 years I carried them, and I thought that was love. But it wasn't. It was just weight. And now I've put it down and I can finally breathe. Do you think you'll ever talk to them again? Like, really talk?" "I don't know. Maybe someday. But not to go back. Never to go back. Maybe just to close the loop. Say what needs to be said, but on my terms. When I'm ready. If I'm ever ready." Nina raised her mug. "To freedom." "To freedom," I echoed. We clinked mugs and drank cheap wine in my tiny apartment with my cat purring on the couch, and I felt richer than I'd ever felt in the house I'd paid for, but was never really mine. People ask me now if I regret cutting them off, if I feel guilty, if I wish things were different. The answer is complicated. Do I wish my family had valued me? Of course. Do I wish my brother hadn't been ashamed of me? Obviously. Do I wish my mother had stood up for me? Every day. But I don't regret leaving. I don't regret saying no. I don't regret choosing myself. Because here's what I learned. You can love people and still leave them. You can sacrifice for people and still set boundaries. You can forgive people and still never speak to them again. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is walk away. My brother excluded me from his wedding because I was just a waitress. But I'm not just anything. I'm a student. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a shift supervisor. I'm a published writer. I'm a survivor. And most importantly, I'm mine. Not theirs. Mine. That's the best ending I could have asked for. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment. Share your story. You're not alone. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because we're all finding our way to freedom together.